Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
Later.
See ya. All right.
It's a good sign.
Yes. It's a good sign that people want to bullshit with us. There's one guy who comes in here every fucking day who likes to bullshit with fucking Ike. I'm talking to you. You know who you are.
Are we rolling?
Yeah, we're rolling, motherfucker.
Double D, Doug Desher, does beautiful production. His voice is some of our liners. Yeah, me and Doug are working on and dude, you're more than welcome to join us. I'm trying to get my brother involved. We have this thing planned for fall. Me, Doug, maybe my brother, maybe you. An amateur night in a Dangerfields or some Upper East Side.
I was worried about what
Lower
you were
East
saying with the
Side.
amateur stuff. I was like, where are you going with this? Okay, good. Just amateur
some stand-up
comedy. There you go.
some
That's what
amateur
we're
comedy. And, dude, it's Rogan talks about it. It's inspiring. It seems like one of those crazy highs. Like there's skydiving, which I'll never do, and there's stand-up comedy, which I would love to get into.
We've done, back in the day when I worked at 923, we did like a couple of comedy shows for Opie and Anthony. We were like 923 Free FM, or maybe it was K-Rock. I can't remember. But regardless.
In the studio, or would you guys move
No,
to
we went to an actual venue. And I can't remember the venue it was, but it wasn't very big. But I remember there was a girl that was there, and she was one of the performers that wanted to be a performer. And we had to coerce her. Is that the word, coerce?
What are you trying to say? What is that?
Coerce. There we go. To get her out on stage just to do her like 5-minute routine because she was so nervous about doing it. I'm like, and I remember talking to her. I go, what's that happened? You fail? Like, who gives a crap? What's the first joke? Like, I was just talking to her, and then finally, eventually, she went out and did it. And I don't know if she won, but she came close to it.
There you go, dude. I mean, I just heard Rogan and Schaub talking. Rogan's like, take a shot of whiskey. He's like, it will loosen you up.
Oh,
and
I know.
He's like, dude, I went out there, and he's like, I killed it. Now, if I become an alcoholic, I'm blaming you for taking shots of whiskey. I mean, dude, you performed Yonkers Brewery, you told me.
Yeah.
You obviously played sports. I played sports. So something in the realm of being in front of people. But would you be open to jumping on the stage this night?
I've performed.
I know some pussy farts that work here.
Whoa,
that
whoa.
wouldn't- George
Carlin
Carlin
bit.
reference.
Love that.
That wouldn't get on stage because they think it would kind of shake their confidence. But I'm going to take a shot of whiskey, maybe a couple of beers before. I'm going to be loose.
I've performed, as a musician, I performed in front of like hundreds of people, maybe close to thousands in certain places. Comedy is definitely different than like doing one-off like a performance with a band.
Nobody can hear you think.
Right, exactly. You're right. Well, listen, in some way, this is still thinking, still performing, like when you're guitar and singing and acting, whatever it is you're doing. It is some sort of, people see you visibly doing something, but you're with a group, I guess you could say, when you're with a band. When I did acoustic shows, it was all me, though. So, I mean, again, like there's the pressure is never too big. Yeah,
You've done acoustic shows with
course.
lyrics?
Of course.
Okay, so
No.
okay, that's a step closer to the stand-up, but
No, of course. I did like 45-minute sets by myself before. It's not a big deal. But, again, comedy is different because the reaction to a joke, if you think that if you go in there and you think there's a punchline and you deliver it as good as you can and there's a pin drop, you can hear a pin drop, I don't know how to feel. Like, I don't know that, like, uncomfortableness. I know how it is to be uncomfortable with, like, a guitar being out of tune. Like, give me another 30 seconds to just tune this up real quick, and you just kind of bullshit through it. I don't know how to bullshit through a joke.
well, I'm trying to think of like premeditate ways around of sounding like a complete ass or failing and crying off stage. Dude, just surround it with some people in the audience, who
Have fun
get
with
you,
it.
get your humor. And if our boy Doug's there, you're there, I'm there, like we're gonna pump each other up. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the stand up, and that's our assignment each week. Watch a stand up and talk about it. This week's is Live on the Sunset with Richard Pryor. Is one of the best ever it's supposed to be. I think it was non-Edward Richard Pryor, so he's still cursing in this. But have you seen the latest stand-up by David Tell and Jeffrey Ross, Bumping Mics? Have you seen any of those on Netflix?
No.
It's 30-minute episodes.
I think I saw them together on Rogan. They did like a little bit together.
Did they? That was probably pumping up the special.
Yeah,
I
but
gotta check that out.
I
Didn't even see
I
that.
did not see the actual how it came together.
Dude, that's the style I want. 50% pre-written and then 50% ad-lib off the audience. Like, they'll have set up a joke and then it'll weave and wind into something. Two guys wearing a Hawaiian shirt. He's like, did you guys meet on a gay cruise? Like, dude, it's awesome stuff. Like, that's the style I like. I want to rip on the audience because we rip on callers. We rip on coworkers. Is there any comedian that you would relate to if you were to jump up there?
If there's a comedian in particular, I mean,
Are you morbid? Are you goofy? Are you zany?
I don't
Are you
even
body
know.
language?
Like I think I'm more goofy at times. I think, but I think it could
Chris
be more.
D'Elia, Dane Cook?
No, not D'Elia, not Cook. No, because not as good. Definitely. I mean, probably more like an Artie Lang type of thing back in the day. Probably Artie Lang, but not even that bad because he's got like Coke stories
Yes.
and like war stories that I can't partake in. I could just do like stupid things. So maybe like a little less tasteful. Oh, geez, I don't want to say Sebastian Maniscalco because he's really good. I can't really say it. I don't really know because I've never written a joke before. Like I've never actually told. I am the worst joke teller of all time, but I think I'm
Start to act like that.
I think
By the way, I'm the worst joke teller.
I think I'm a good storyteller. I think that if you give me the time, maybe it's 5 minutes, and I can time it out, I can put together a good story and maybe add some zingers here and there. But if I was to say knock knock, who's there? Go fuck yourself. I can't even pull that off right.
That's not bad. That's a good start. But dude, 5 minutes? What? 5, 7, 10 minutes? Like an amateur
Yeah,
spot?
some of the sets like 5-10 minutes, dude. Yeah.
I mean, you could tell a story 5, 7 minutes. A couple of zingers. Me
Yeah.
and Doug Desher again. We're going over. He says like if you're telling a story every 60 seconds, 90 seconds. You got to keep poking the funny bear, and you can't just story tell and make it about yourself.
Right.
Dude, the art of it is very interesting. It's like Rogan, it's like he doesn't even care how good he is with the UFC or as a podcast host. He talks about his comedy like
all the time.
that's the worst thing he is at, and he wants to be better at it.
Yeah.
It's like I understand.
That's where he originated from. That's where he became anything is from his comedy. Like, he wanted to be a comedian. Not saying he wasn't. He was first of all. He was mixed martial arts before that because of the camps and the
Taekwondo.
Taekwondo. Sorry,
that famous back kick.
right, exactly. But that's where he first originated from. But that turned into comedy, and then from there, the acting came along, the fear factor came along, the commentating came along. Like the podcast came along. It was the comedy that Joe Rogan wanted to be. Not even that he wanted to be, but he was coerced. I used the word twice today.
Word of the
Couldn't
week.
figure out what it was, and now I'm going to use it twice.
Okay, I'm going to work it in.
Third time, I'm going to get in there later on, all right? But so that's where it started from, and then everything else just kind of came and trickled down. If you can do comedy, though, I think you can pretty much do anything because it is one of those things where you put yourself in a situation where only you can get out of.
I don't think I have, personally speaking, have the pure talent for stand-up. I like the open form comedy, the live comedy. It's like... do you know
Is it
any?
not all live? Mm-hmm. Is it not all live?
What the
live comedy? Isn't it all live?
Yeah. All right. You're right.
If you're gonna do stand up, it's kind of got to be live, right?
You never know the way they edit it. But yeah, you're right.
You get the laugh tracks.
To do the stand up comedy, the laugh tracks. That's not too bad. You can film it in your basement.
Ha, ha, ha.
Dude, nowadays with the YouTube, schmucks are getting attention
You
for
know
doing
what?
some nice swift
You
editing.
just created something right there. I would patent that shit ASAP.
Not a bad idea, actually.
I would do it, yeah.
But do you know any radio hosts that did comedy? Because I know the rest his soul now.
Jim Norton?
He was radio and then comedy?
No.
Did Opie and Anthony, did Stern do radio and then comedy? Because
Stern never really did comedy. He never did any. He never did any type of stand up. He just did all. Stern was talk show host. He's always been talk show host. He's never done comedy. Artie Lang was comedy. I don't know anybody that went talk show host and then into comedy. I don't know that.
It's like it's a different way of thinking. Because, again, on the open forum, you got time to think and retort, and you could bounce off co-hosts and callers. The comedy, you got to be sharp. Like, Stern might have been exposed and looked like a schmuck if he got up on the stage, you know?
He was a hell of an interviewer, though. That's the thing about Stern is Stern was able to bring in, a celebrity and sit there and talk to him and kind of then get so tell me a little bit more about what'd you do that night? Who'd you go out with?
See, I like
did you go? And that's where Stern would do some unbelievable interviews, but he'd bring in like the hot celebrity female of that week or month or whatever. He'd have them on, and then they get into like conversation, and whether they played into it a little bit, they told him things that no one else would get to hear, and that's what excited the audience. Like, you never know what he's going to talk about, and you never know what the celebrity is going to say. He had Pamela Anderson all the time talking about just like stories, sex stories and shit like that. Like, there were tons of playmates, porn stars. That's where a lot of Stern's background came from. Whereas he got into in-depth stuff with people that you wanted to hear in-depth stuff with, and it was cool.
It's cool, man. I mean, there was a huge gap between my listening of Stern. Like when he went to Sirius, I stopped listening for a while. I'm coming back into it, man. He's still got it. Still some funny bits. He's got a book coming out again. Stern comes again.
I got it.
It was funny, like him talking about the spots he wants to do. I mean, that guy could do anything he wants. I like the open form interviews, but I want to touch the pools of stand-up comedy. I don't know how it's gonna go. Like I'm gonna be zany and wild, use some impressions.
It's gonna go terrible.
Yeah,
it's gonna be the worst thing in the world, but you have to get past that and then do it again.
It's like, who cares?
That's what it comes down to. It's riding a bike. I got to get up on the bike and I'm going to crash eventually. I'm not going to, personally speaking, I'm never going to get on a motorcycle, but riding a bike, I'm sure we all fell at least once, twice, 3 times. Get back up and do it again. That's comedy. If you could.
It's like anything in life, dude. A lot of people are scared to fail, though. It's like they don't want to show up. Dude, you know how many? One of this kid that works here, I'm not going to call him by name, but Billy, I told him, I was like, Evan Roberts goes to Billy for his Nets knowledge. I'm like, dude, you need to do a Billy and the Nets, but Billy and the Nets podcast. We had production made with Al Hughes, Zach Martin, the morning show producer. Amazing stuff. He's like, I don't know if they're going to be good. They're in the playoffs. He could have had credentials, dude. So it's so many times, people, the hardest part is showing up.
Yes.
You've seen a coworker that I've been on road trips for. I know you have your issues with them. I like him. He's got skill. But again, it's showing up. It's not just being talented. You got to work hard and be talenthing.
Yes.
I mean,
showing up is half the battle, but then you actually have to perform. You do have to perform. You have to. Everything in life is a performance. It doesn't make a difference what job it is you do. For crying out loud, we're writers. I never thought I could write ever in my life.
I was like, who?
We are. We're published writers. We are. If you go to radio.com and check out Pete Hoffman or Ike Feldman, you will see us and having written articles on
We don't
radio.com.
have naked photos of anybody. We're actually getting paid to write articles.
To do it. It's amazing. My wife was laughing at me. She goes, "Who the hell would have thought that you'd be a published writer?" I'm like, you know what? You're right. But
it's supposed to be radio, guys.
but it is what it is, man.
It is what it is.
Stranger things have happened. So God bless.
Like the Sharks are winning.
All right, so I'm super overtired today, and like everyone keeps telling me how shitty I look.
It's like your fourth coffee.
Yeah, fourth in the past 5 minutes. I stayed up all night and watched that Sharks game. Game 7. It was incredible. They were down 3-0 in the third period. It looked like it was over. I changed the channel for a minute. I have to admit the fact that I was done. I thought it was like the Brooklyn Nets, and they weren't down by 40 points, but they were down by 3 goals in the third period. You're like, this is typical Sharks. 7th game of the playoffs, whatever. They always lose. Bad penalty. Joe Pavelski gets kind of cross-checked, roughed. He lands really bad on his back of his head, and he starts to bleed. They have to escort him off. He never comes back in the game. Because of that, they give Cody Eakin a 5-minute major penalty, which means that no matter what, this guy's going to be in the box for 5 minutes, and you're going to be shorthanded for 5 minutes, no matter what happens. In that time period, the Sharks score 4 goals. Crazy. Now they're winning 4-3. It's bonkers. The crowd is going crazy. The audience is going crazy. This is all in the third period. The Golden Knights pull the goalie within a minute left. Under a minute left, they tie the game. We go to overtime. And towards the end of the first period, Sharks score, game over, move on to the next round. But it was probably one of the best period and a half of all time. Wow. It was that crazy.
For your team or for?
In general, because it was
That's a hot take.
The change of events, like whether or not it was a real, I don't think it was a just call. Someone said no matter what happens when it's a injury like that, you have to give a major. But that being said, the turn of events, the amount after every goal, the crowd got louder and louder. And when finally, it was almost like a Mighty Ducks movie, except it was San Jose Sharks. And after every goal, the players were buying into it. They were jumping on each other, doing dance moves and stuff like that, pumping up the crowd. It was getting intense. The goal to put them into overtime was a little crazy, but then the fact that the Sharks won was just it was amazing. Anyway, so I had to rep. I repped before the series started. Now I'm repping after the series is over.
This is a different one?
Yes, this is a Patrick Marleau jersey, team captain. I don't know, about 10 years ago, I think I got the jersey, maybe even longer.
Keep them in good condition, man.
I don't really rock them anymore. It's been I never really used them. I bought them, and then I just kind of rocked them here and there, but don't really do anything with them.
They're getting loose on you now, too.
That's
a good thing.
Yes, I was very heavy when I bought these, and now I'm much smaller in stature. So
Me and Matt Casey contributed to Outside the Cage maybe a year ago,
What?
maybe 2 years ago, and unpaid. He's our intern still. We're working on logistics.
yes,
He was saying, I was like, yeah, Pete used to play hockey. He was like, no way. And
Yes.
dude, I remember you saying, like, your coach said, like, you're great at distributing the puck, passing around. Like,
He
you really
told-
got after it
he
on the
to-
skates?
yeah.
Because I heard your interview with Rory McDonald. It was awesome. Got to check it out. YouTube Outside the Cage with Pete Hoffman. It was great, man.
Thank you.
Rory got after it on the ice.
He did. He stopped when he was 14, though. And I actually went further than him. I played high school hockey. I stopped. I played like men's league and like when I was 18, 19 years old, but then I stopped. I was over that. Like I know people that went to like the minor leagues and tried like, you know, the affiliates and all these other places
Wow.
that went to these other, you know, off the cuff type of-
Westchester Rangers.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, I was never made for that. My coach always told me I was one of the smartest players he had ever coached. I just didn't have all the pieces to put it together. I was a little slow. I won't deny. I was a little slow on the skates. Big boy, you know, but I just wasn't as fast as some of the other guys. That's what my issue was. Big
Cool.
boy, but hey, listen, I was a smart guy, and I mean, I probably could have coached, but I chose a different route like music, which that paid off.
Dude, I definitely see the coaching gene in you because it's like a lot of time I'll be like a Tasmanian devil and you're just playing like ping pong with like directing me in the right direction. You give a lot of advice, not only because you've been in the business for a while, but you got a good way to explaining yourself and like trying to hit the goal, realistic goals.
Realistic, build. But yeah, I will tell my kids that. I wish I was that good with children these days because that's the thing with the kids. You want them to take in that advice, but they don't trust you. They don't want to trust you. They're like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. I know everything. 9 years old playing Fortnite, deleting their friends off their accounts because they get into a little argument. I'm like, dude. It's not that big of a deal. No, it's not. It's Fortnite. It's a
But
game.
JBot99 took my pot of gold.
He told me that he was gonna dance, steal my dance moves. I'm like, oh, okay.
Dude, I was at the Easter weekend. My like little nephews, when they're hitting the ball, and we're playing wiffle ball in the front yard. There's shit in the backyard. Justina, clean up your.
Whoa.
So anyway, we're in the front yard. They're hitting the wiffle balls. They're doing the dance moves. I'm like, run to the base, run to the freaking base.
Oh, no.
No, it's about you gotta do the dance.
It's all about the celebration. It's not the path to get there. That's the problem I have. And it's not just with my kids.
No, it's
kids in
minibus.
general. Kids, no, it's kids. It's kids in general. I forgot who we were talking to. I think it was
Elliot Marshall. I'm thinking
might have
was a
been
good
that,
conversation
but
about
there
kids.
was a conversation we had with somebody about just in general that a lot of these children are they don't understand the work ethic to get into that. They just expect it to happen because everything is so in their grasp at an early age. It's not, you know, if you hit a home run once, that's all you needed. You know, dude, the kid that was here when we were talking about for the belt.
Smith versus
Smith.
Jones. Right, CJ.
Yeah, CJ, he was like, dude, you don't have to earn it. You just got to get it. You just need the belt. If you could win by DQ and take the belt for Anthony Smith beating John Jones by DQ, doesn't make a difference because he has the belt.
That was the difference. I was like, we all assumed that CJ was going to be like, yeah, no, I got pride. I want a rematch.
No.
We were like, CJ, your thought, what? You want the DQ win?
Because it doesn't make a difference. As long as you can raise the belt, you did it. It doesn't make a difference how you got there.
Definitely a trickle effect of that present. You know, 'cause he seems, even though he's in his 70s and his ball sack probably scratches against the tile floor.
Smells.
What? I'm sure. God bless him, Melania's nose.
Whoa.
Sure, she got her nasal sensors removed. But it's like the president is like a millennial in the sense, or like a teenager kid, where he's like on the podium and he's like, no Bernie or no Hillary. While it's fun and entertaining, it's very childish and immature.
Right. Well,
And that's what these kids are growing up to in their history books. They see Trump. We saw Clinton. We saw Reagan. It's like completely different now.
It's such a different level right now. You're right, dude. There's everything. Everyone's immature. Everyone's instantaneous. Everyone's just looking for. They just want to outdo. We talked about this.
I heard Ukraine's president was a stand-up comedian. Like now they're looking for good speakers. I heard Brazil's president or prime minister. He's a TV personality. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? It's a worldwide TV show.
I mean, well, but think about it. If you realistically think about like who was George Washington, he was a leader. right?
Yeah.
He was a leader. But you transition to what are leaders today? Leaders today are fucking entertainers. Unfortunately, that's what
Unfortunately.
we used to say this all the time. Like for baseball players, for example, like, you know, they shouldn't be role models. They're just players. They're just baseball players. They're not real role models. A father should be a role model for your child. It shouldn't be what's on TV as a role model for your kid. But
Exactly.
unfortunately, that's what is today because it's in front of their face 90% of the time. That's what they are. So thank you very much for interrupting that, Steve Summers. So role models. Yeah. Speaking of role models, it is what it is, dude. The role models are entertainers like that of Steve Summers.
Ironically, you saying it is what it is. It's like Max Holloway. I was really happy that he was getting the attention. It sucks he didn't get the belt because that means less people are going to hear his message. Obviously, if you want a second belt, more publicity, more exposure, but we need more Max, like real guys who are fathers. They're going to be famous no matter what, and less of the Conor McGregors and the Colby Covingtons,
Right.
man. I feel like we're transitioning towards that.
No, we definitely are, and you're right. I mean, the Max Holloway Dustin Poirier fight was really good for a bunch of reasons. Besides, it was epic. The two could not have been any more humbler to each other. Even after the huge win for Poirier and Holloway with a tough defeat, they were just so genuine to each other, generous to each other. The charitable stuff with, you know, Poirier giving the gloves to charity and all that was just such a nice touch to everything.
It's just boring though for people.
But
it's like they'll make the fights entertaining. Like I feel like fighting's back.
But the fight was entertaining. You can't knock what the fight was. And
people are greedy. They want more, man. They want Poirier to throw a chair in the press conference. Max to talk shit.
You talk shit beforehand. That's fine. Don't talk after.
Or in the cage, like Max was fucking spitting at him, throwing his hands up.
But
that was great.
But that's fun. But
that's great.
And that is what comes down to for me. It's always what happens, what transpires in the cage. You can't do the Colby stuff outside and then inside put on a boring show. Like Kamaru Usman, not for nothing. And again, I love Usman. I think he's super talented. But I will tell you this much. If Usman puts the same performance the next 2 or 3 times in a row where he dominates in that fashion but doesn't actually do anything,
he's going to get the same Tyron Woodley shit. And it's great.
Exactly.
People on their ass.
And
he got questioned.
Woodley was talking a lot of shit, but he was also performing at a high level. Like he was going up against these high-level specialists and was finding ways to win, maybe not completely dominate, but when he needed to, he was able to touch up Stephen Thompson.
You talk about Usman. Yeah, go for it.
No, exactly.
No, you talk about Usman. I feel like now that's the name that I missed out on the radio.com, the writing article part of our job. I put 6 athletes. I put Ortega, Till, Adesanya, Iaquinta, Colby, about some fighters who are passing or failing to be to that Conor McGregor level. You know, Max failed. He's a champion, but he didn't get the double belt.
Right.
Adesanya right now, he's the highest on my scale. He got the first belt. Can he beat Whitaker? Can he go for the second belt? Can he challenge John Jones? Can he fight a boxer? People sleep on the Conor McGregor's accomplishments. I mean, I know the UFC's ready to part ways, but if Adesanya loses to Whitaker or if Till gets arrested, we didn't even speak about that. If Till's gone forever, Dana White might lower his expectations for what he thinks Conor or Conor might raise his expectations for his own worth.
You put it down on paper of what Conor did to get to where he did and to win the belts. I can't deny what he did to get there. He never defended, which Max has, which Aldo had, which plenty other fighters have defended belts. So that's the first knock on Conor. Yes, he was a champ. But not even one belt did he defend. You know, DC
happened fast.
DC defended the heavyweight belt already.
Yeah.
You know, even though I know we were like, oh, he didn't give Stipe a fair chance, and when's the Lesnar thing going to happen? He defended that heavyweight belt already.
If DC beats Brock,
which might not even
John,
happen. Wow.
Dude, that could be on the Conor McGregor level. Like, he could literally go to WWE, finish off a couple years there. Like, that would take him to the next level. It's pretty rare what Conor did. It just sucks that he screwed it up. All the shit outside, the assaults, the sexual
What
assaults.
but besides the stuff outside the cage, I mean, he never really his accomplishments stopped after a while though. Like, you can't put him the best ever. You could say
I
he
consider
did
an
it the best.
accomplishment the fighting Floyd. That's an accomplishment.
Sure,
To fake Floyd.
Sure. I would say that Conor McGregor did it the best to get to where he was, to be the to be the most popular figure in the sport and in the sports world at some point in time. He got there the fastest and did it the best. But is he the best ever to step into the cage? No, not even close.
No, but
Not
is he
even
the
close.
best businessman for the UFC?
Sure.
Yes. And did they seem to cut ties or hoping Conor McGregor comes back cheaper? Yes. Will he? Probably not.
No.
Probably not.
No. You and I know that.
It's in flux. I mean, but we did have actual fights this past weekend. Boxing, UFC
there were
Russia.
a lot of fights, actually.
I didn't see the UFC Russia at all. It
I
was
watched
Passover.
a lot of it. Well, was everyone good? Was the family fantastic? Did we have a good Passover?
I have the modern family, man. Where it was Easter, Passover, Mom's birthday. It's a good mix of everything.
It took me a while to catch up on the fights. I won't lie. I did not see it over the weekend. I had to catch it later on, but I kind of knew. And I ruined a freaking text to you. I try not to
skipped
do
over.
that.
Didn't even see it.
Thank you.
Didn't even see
I
it.
try not to. There's one person in particular that always likes to ruin. Two people in particular that like to ruin. One person I have on mute or block. No, I have it on mute, so I literally couldn't see what they text me or whatever. It doesn't make a difference. But the other person I don't have on mute, and he always is like, "Oh, I'll like to see this person face this guy." I'm like, "Oh, you just ruined it. Like, you didn't tell me that they won."
Exactly.
I
The match.
know what happened.
My guy tweets me the last name and will be like, Ortega! And I'm like,
Right. It's just so annoying. I hate that. Don't be that guy. Whatever you do, never be that guy. You got to give it at least 48 hours before you can send something like that. If I don't reach out to you like, "Hey, did you catch the fights?" Then don't.
Or
reach
you
out.
don't see me tweeting for a while.
Right.
So it's
Then
like-
leave it alone, dude. Leave it alone. Listen, we got lives. We're gonna watch. Listen, we watch every single fight. It's exhausting, but I watch every single. By the way, the undercard was better for the St. Petersburg than the main card was. I mean, obviously the main event was nice, but the undercard was ridiculous.
Really?
The knockouts were
Really?
very fast and heavy.
I'll start
dude.
from the beginning.
A spinning back kick, I think, by some Russian who was off for the 2 years. It's pretty impressive, and I think he was the dog in that fight. Tabura got. Well,
I'm saying
not gonna-
that's all right.
we don't say things. But
Overeem.
there was about 3 or 4 people that got knocked out in the other card, which is good.
How was it? Was it a big arena for Russia?
No, it was like 9,000 people. I'm not sure if that's
Come
big.
on.
Well, listen, but that's what the arena was supposed to be. There was a sellout, but it wasn't a big, huge arena.
Even with the
That's like
Russian
Long Island,
headliner.
dude. That's like Long Island. It's a fight night. It's not a pay-per-view.
It's 12, 13. It was Weidman, too. Weidman's a bigger.
By the way, not for nothing, I know that Weidman was talking about how energetic and electric that crowd was in Nassau after they beat the Penguins in that first game or whatever it was. But I don't know, man. I was there when he won versus Gastelum, and that crowd was
That
on
was like a college
fire.
atmosphere. I've never been to a Duke game, but
that
the people were pouring over trying to grab Weidman, get a piece of him. It was
like we were there for when Conor beat Eddie Alvarez, and the
That was
crowd
really good.
The crowd was really good, but there was a different feel when Chris Weidman beat Calvin Gastelum.
our boy came home.
The wave of electricity that came through, like you kind of your body kind of got like shivers and stuff like that. Like it's one of those things where I can't. There's not many sporting events these days that do what MMA does on a regular level. Like I don't watch 162 Mets games and go, "Oh my God, I'm sitting on pins and needles over every single pitch."
No, you can't.
Like I watch the game, I'm pretty realistic, I enjoy it, and there's some intense situations here and
Keep
there,
it in
sure.
the background.
But like when I see a fighter that I like Shane Burgos is coming up versus Cub Swanson, the moment they step in the cage, I start to get a little amped. And once the bell rings and they go and they stand toe to toe, dude, my heart is pumping. I got butterflies in my stomach. It is one of the most intense things in the world, and I'm not in the cage.
Oh,
Just
dude, that's how I
watching.
feel with freaking Iaquinta. And, like, explain it. Like, Long Island is separate from freaking New York City and upstate New York and Westchester.
Yes.
It's
Westchester.
it's a lot more conservative. A lot of people get confused. Like, there's the bougie golf course at Gold Coast, and there's the Hamptons and Billy Joel and everything. If you took a poll, it's probably more Trump. Like, it's a lot more blue-collar people on Long Island.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, when Ike is going to go out there against Cowboy, I think Cowboy's going to win. Like, I'm scared to see this fight. This could put him on another level. He could fight Gaethje, Ferguson in the fall, Diaz, and then fight Khabib in a year for a rematch. It's like, there's a lot of pressure on him. He's got the chance to be the next torch holder for Long Island. Matt Serra, Chris Weidman, is Ally Quinta going to do it? Like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm scared when I see these guys walk in for them.
You see a guy like Cowboy Cerrone, and we see how he's focused, and he's saying, I'm not taking risks anymore. I'm taking the path to get my chance for a belt. Ally Quinta's in his way? That, to me, is nuts. That means that Al is at that level, too, of where one fight away from getting another opportunity at the belt again. And again, you saw him versus Khabib the first time. On a real regimen versus knowing that you're going to go up against Khabib, what can he potentially do? Like, listen, he was training for a fight anyway, sure, but he wasn't going up against Khabib.
3-round fight against a kickboxer, Paul Felder.
Right, exactly. That would have been a war for sure, but this is a different fucking fight. And the fact
And he did better than Conor.
Yeah, he did better than 99% of the people that have fought Khabib so far. Think about that, dude. Like, Michael Johnson did not look good versus Khabib.
No, got smoked.
And Tim Barboza did not look good versus Khabib.
Smoked.
Okay? Al went 5 rounds with Khabib. Okay? 5 fucking rounds.
And he's a real estate agent. Dude, the story's there. That's why I put who could be the next face of the UFC. If he gets past Cerrone, or I really think he's going to lose this fight.
But here's the thing. This is why. Let's put it this way. If Al loses, his stock doesn't drop.
No.
It does not. If Cowboys loses, Cowboys stock drops, but shoots Al's up that much more. Because Al's fighting a star, okay? Cowboy is a freaking star. And Al is a star on the rise. And it's one of those things where this is the Shane Burgos, Cub Swanson thing, dude. Cub Swanson is a star who he never really can get that. He hasn't had that title shot yet.
No, UFC, see how valuable they could be. Good looking, a well spoken, smart kid, humble kid, and amazing inside the cage. But it's like, can you get it done when the lights shine at the most important time?
Right. And Burgos is there looking to make a name for himself, and he has an opportunity right in front of his hands right now, right in front of his fingers. It's such a weird thing because it's all it takes is one fight, dude. And we are seeing something incredible happen right in front of our eyes, whether it's Al or whether it's Cowboy. But the problem is that for Cowboy, it needs to happen now. So we understand that. We understand the desperation for Cowboy and how he is so smart and what he's gone through wars in the past, and he's not going to go through stupid wars again.
No, I think he's going to pull it off because I don't think Al's got the heavy. I know he popped Diego Sanchez back a couple of years, but it's like I don't think he's got those heavy hands that he's going to lay on Cowboy in the first round. What does everybody say historically, that Cowboy is the slow starter?
Right.
I think that Al's slow strategy is going to give Cowboy enough time to get ramped into the fight. I mean, this might be the best kicker that Ike has ever seen, the best jiu-jitsu guy's ever seen. Most wins in UFC history. Hello. That's why I'm thinking Cowboy might win this, but the way the UFC in that division works, Al might get a huge knockout win in the fall against Gaethje or Ferguson, and then what do you know? On the same fight night, they do Khabib versus Nate Diaz, and then you got Al on the undercard. Somebody gets hurt, Al slides back in, the rematch happens. I think his path to the championship is going to be weirder than anybody else. Like, I really think this is Cowboys' time, man. I think this is like the story for, unless I'm dead wrong and I'm too hard on my own guy.
No, well, first of all, you and I are just awful at picking things, so I can't.
Our heart is.
It's like I wanted to step away from my heart. I understand where my heart lies, so I'm going to go with the knowledge, and the knowledge I have is usually that against my heart. And the problem is though with that, when I go knowledge, it's still wrong.
Women must hate to date us.
Oh my God, yes, and marry us too, for that matter.
I love you. I mean. Yeah,
but the knowledge that we have is dude. I mean, the last pay-per-view event, I was so wrong. I had 4 fights right. I was like, this is ridiculous.
Just picking Adesanya because I was like, Kelvin looked at me wrong.
I think I got the decisions. I think I got like the finishes when I think I chose a bunch of finishes, submission, whether it's submission or knockout. I think I got that part of the fight right. It just went to the wrong guy. Like, that's the problem with MMA. And again, I forgot who I listened to or watched recently say it's scary because you 50-50 every time you step into the cage. There's no other sport that's like that.
Yeah, there's
There's
no
no
MMA
sport.
math. And dude, I thought Aldo was done. I picked against him. Renato Moicano, I was like, he's the guy. He's the next Aldo. No. Aldo's the champion inside Brazil, knocked him out. You never know that emotion, too, like fighting in their home country. Is Jessica Andrade going to step up another level? Or does Rose like those crazy challenges and just it brings her to another high? Like, I have no idea. Like, we don't – is Nunes going to have trouble making the weight at 35 against Holm? Nobody knows. We're not in that dressing room.
You know, and that's always a strange thing because we sit there and dissect, you know, what it takes to get into a fight when they step in the cage, if they're the right weight.
It's not just robots.
Right. No, of course. Like we talked about Burgos, how he's got the, which you'll be able to listen to or hear later on at some point in time.
Oh, yeah. You want to run off the guests?
Yeah, what do we got? What do we
No, do you want to run off?
Oh, so we have Ray Sefo. Is that this week? What do we have? We have Ray Sefo.
Yes, dude. Big Ray.
We have Shane Burgos. And we have
Rory's in the mix.
Roy McDonald, of course. And then
Ilima Le McFarland.
There you go. Ilima Le McFarland, yes.
Beautiful name.
Is fighting for the flyweight championship.
Veta Ortega. Very funky name.
Yes, it's a good, but Hawaiian. We love Hawaii. We love the Hawaiians.
Oh my gosh, the day the company sends us out to freaking anywhere or Hawaii would be amazing.
Hawaii. It would be incredible. Yeah,
I would try to learn to surf if I'm there on a business trip.
Sounds super chill. I wanted to see if she swam with sharks. I forgot to ask that. Do they have sharks out in Hawaii? I'm sure they do.
I'm sure.
But yeah, so we talked to Burgos. We talked.
Real quick. Yeah. The guest, Ray Burgos, Shane Burgos, Shane Sefo,
Ray
Sefo, PFL. McFarlane, Rory, bunch of guests. It's all on the YouTube universe.
Go find them,
but dude, picking fights, I picked Khan because he convinced me. This 2.2 million follower Twitter guy convinced me that he's got the heart. This is the best he's ever looked. He's ready to bring it. It's not just a money fight for him. I thought he was going to bring it to Crawford. Didn't touch him.
I know.
I'm glad I went to Passover.
I know. He convinced a lot of people to buy the fight too. And and then he convinced people that he got punched in the groin. Now, whether or not he did or not, I mean, I gotta see a picture.
Oy,
do you have pictures of it? Do something swollen that we should see or something like that? I mean, I don't know. Yay!
If we had the green screen, I mean, all right. So guys, MSG, Amir Khan, King Kong, he should be fucking Ding Kong, versus Terrence Crawford, number 2 boxer in the world. I mean, I thought this was gonna be epic. I heard Gareth Davies.
Pumping this up?
Yeah, pumping this up. Dude, I fell in love with this. I was going to order it. Good thing I didn't. The $60, $70.
Do you get a refund for nut shots?
They should
do that.
Dude, yeah. I see Ike Hinta, headed to MSG. Can't wait. No tweet afterwards. He said, go in there. There was no response coming back. No pictures. Like, what the fuck? 6th round. Crawford was smoking it for the first 5 rounds. 6th round, catches him left hook to the nuts. Khan, after 60 seconds of real time, him and his coach, Hunter Virgil, wrote a piece about this. They called the fight, said it's over. It was a low blow. He cannot continue. Find out in boxing, you get 5 minutes, just like in MMA, to see if you can recover and see if you can continue. Khan gave it 60 seconds, said, I'm not continue. He goes to the post-fight press conference, not the hospital. His face looks battered.
Right.
You made a great comparison with the Bellator fight.
Yeah, when Mitrione kicked the guy square to nuts in 15 seconds.
I forget. I think Sergey Russian guy.
It was, and he was on his back, and they did a whole 15 seconds. He got kicked in the nuts, but it took him a lot longer than
60
a
seconds,
minute
right? Yeah.
to say, I'm out, I'm done. The only thing it does remind me of is the Olynyk fight versus Curtis Blades at MSG, where
was that the ear?
That was the ear scrape.
Okay.
Curtis Blades went to go kick him while he was on all fours, and it barely scraped his ear. Exactly. And they goes, I can't fight anymore. And they go back on review, and they see that they never.
That is true.
The
replay.
It never touched. So they awarded Curtis Blades. And listen, there's nothing against Alexei Olynyk. Clearly, the guy's a warrior. He'll fight. He fought over him this past weekend. But yeah, it didn't look good. And then you do the replay, and goes, it didn't even hit him. But he was getting his ass kicked for a round and a half prior to that.
So
he gave up. He gave up. He did. He
Not a good
basically
look.
gave up, and they said he gave up. He basically he couldn't go any further because he couldn't see straight. That's the thing. He said he couldn't see straight. Yeah, because you got pounded in the head for the first round
prior to
prior.
the kick to the freaking earlobe.
Yeah,
Sorry,
dude.
now you could get
So he wasn't all there, and that's nothing against him. We're not trying to criticize.
Nothing against
Dude, you got your
Olenek,
ass
nothing
kicked. It
against
happens.
Khan. I like them both. I picked them both. But guys,
You're not all there at times. It makes
come
sense.
on. And you made a great point. Don't do the post-fight press conference and then say your
Right.
nuts hurt and you couldn't continue. No, it was one thing if something was ruptured or something was
Yes.
displaced, something was dismembered.
Dude, if he had a big chunk of an ice packet on his
At least
leg
sell
area.
it. At least sell it.
Yeah, like did you ever see what the hell's the movie with Tom Selleck? It was it Mr. Baseball?
Doesn't ring a bell.
I think it's Mr. Baseball where he's playing for the Detroit Tigers or a professional, maybe it's the Dodgers, whatever it is, and he's awful in the major leagues and he's kind of out of it, but he wants to keep on playing. So they trade him to a team. They go, yeah, you're gonna go play for the Giants or whatever. He's like, okay, cool, I'm ready. In Japan. So they fly him out to
The
Japan,
Giants.
and he sits there. And remember, after one thing, he just literally takes an ice pack and just puts a square in his freaking genital area.
Khan should have done that.
Yes, that's what you do. That's how you show that you were injured. Don't sit there and be like, I would never give up on a fight because you look like you gave up on a fight.
It's a bad move. I mean, everybody knew that Crawford was winning that fight and was going to win, even if Khan
Right.
could continue. But the fight to make, I mean, you said Errol Spence fought at AT&T Stadium. I think 47-50K were there.
Right.
Errol Spence beat Mikey Garcia. Do Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford, man. Get the fight made. Come on, make it over the summer. Crawford looks fresh. That's a fun fight.
Dude, the guy is still in his prime. Don't make him fight another cupcake.
Stop.
Just let him go out there. That is the fight that needs to be made, and the fans will pay to see that. That's the other thing too. You got to remember who, with all these packages, with all these the zone's $10. ESPN Plus is $5.
Fight Pass is $10.
Yeah, what are we buying for Fight Pass?
WWE is $10.
Yeah. We have to figure it. They have to be smart about this. Like the Canelo fight's coming up in 2 weeks, right?
Ooh, it is. There you go.
Yeah.
The zone.
Yeah, and I'm excited about that. This is the first time I'm actually gonna be able to see. Listen, I watch Bellator. We watch Bellator anyway, but Canelo, I would never normally watch because it's $50-$60 on pay-per-view. I'm like, you know what? It's not worth it. I'll find a way. If someone else is paying for it, I'll watch it. But I ain't paying for it, because we're not as big into boxing, so I have to put my money towards other things. Well, you know what? It's part of the zone package. I'm watching that shit. I am locked in. I am going to be watching that. No questions asked.
Great point I heard. Two pay-per-views, what, 120? Well, what's 120 over 12 months? $10 a month, that's the zone.
There you go.
It's a pretty good deal.
Listen, and not for nothing though, still, if you do that and ESPN Plus, and if ESPN Plus and UFC figure out a way to give you a deal like that too, where it's like, hey, $10 a month, and you get every single pay-per-view. I mean, so now you've doubled. You went from 120 to 240, but simple math, folks, 240 for the whole year compared to 4 pay-per-views.
Yeah,
Which
no.
is the same price. You're missing out on a lot of pay-per-views if you don't if you're a fight fan, you will do those numbers of I'll pay $240 for the whole year to get every single freaking fight. Sure,
Dude, it's crazy. Rogan, Schaub were talking about this. It's like
Well,
I
they
used to
couldn't figure out
waste
the
so
ESPN Plus.
much freaking money. Not
Yeah.
those issues, but I used to waste so much money on video games, like $60. It's like,
Oh my
and
God.
now I'm a lot more frugal and smarter with the money, kind of. And I'm just looking, I'm like, man, people are who are true hardcore fight fans, they're spending money on all these pay-per-views, all these packages. It's insane. It's expensive to not only stream stuff, but to be a fight fan nowadays.
To live these days, prices are more expensive on everything. And it's about showboating and what do you see? What do you have? Do you watch this show, that show? Do you have
Are you talking about showboating among your peers?
everything? Everyone's trying to impress in every which way. What clothes do you wear? What styles do you wear? Are you up to the newest trends? What's your latest cell phone, dude?
The cell phone peer pressure is crazy. People
Oh,
are hating
God.
on me for having a iPhone 5. Now I know it's barely functional, but it's like it works. I don't need all the fucking Snapchat filters and shit. I don't need that.
Dude, have you seen my phone? My phone has a black mark on it. It's been broken for about a year now because my little son dropped it on the floor and it cracked. And before I was able to get the case for it, it just cracked just enough to give me a little black spot on the bottom left of the corner. But I'm like, you know what? The phone works. Everything is up to date. I don't need a new phone. I don't need to run out. The screen's not really cracked. It's just got a little black mark on it. Whatever. I can live with that.
Yeah, people get so freaking hell-bent on like, oh, what do you got? It's like maybe in 4th grade, 5th grade with the sneaker.
Yeah,
like,
dude, no. I'm over
a little
that.
too much.
I'm over that phase. Let's go. Because you want to know why those trends go by so quick? Because I see it already, too, where the kids, they rock trends like, oh, Fortnite's the new thing. But what else is the new thing? Well, baseball's the new thing. Before it was soccer. You know, it flows so quick. It's like, dude, you don't even have a month to deal with it. Now it's like weeks. It's cool for a week or two.
Oh, I'm waiting. I wish it was a week or two with Fortnite, my nephew. I'm waiting for him to like start to like girls. He's 13 or whatever he's into. He's 13, 14. I'm like, he's too obsessed, man. His eyelids are down to here. He's got his whole headset, piece of slice of old crust on his desk.
All right.
Doesn't leave his room for Fortnite. Thank goodness he's playing baseball this spring.
There you go. Get outside a little bit. Jeez.
Dude, it's sad. I mean, that's how they do it nowadays. It's funny that your son was like, I'm not talking to my friends anymore.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And the thing is that then they get upset. They both get upset. They're all like, and it's not just him too. It's my middle one too.
Did you hear the like actual backlash where a parent will talk to you in person?
No.
About like an online beef between the kids?
Here's the thing. Like it's very segregated right now. We all have we know the parents of the kids that he plays with, so we could just text them. And just be like, is everything cool? Yeah,
your son sucks.
No, it's more like, yeah, they're upset about something. Yeah, I know he got upset too. Okay, but they're really friends. They're just upset that they got upset about each other, something. So can they make amends? Yeah, it's a big deal for no reason.
No side eye at the functions.
No, because we're all friends together too. Like the families are friends. Like there's no bad blood. They're just kids being kids. Dude, you remember that shit? I used to be friends with so many kids back in the day, grade school. We played wiffle ball every freaking day. But we hate each other every fucking day, too, because it's like, that wasn't a strike. No, that was a strike. No, it was a ball. It hit me. No, it didn't hit you. The wind moved the last minute. You go through these ups and downs of play. You're playing constantly. Because, dude, when you're a kid, that's what you have time to do. You have time to go outside. You have time to relax and go play fucking kid games. You're not sitting there and stressing about, like, all right, what are you going to eat for dinner? Mom's making dinner. I'm going to go play games. And that's what we're going to do. So you sit there and fight with your friends on a daily basis because you're all in that same nook. Like I don't know about you, but like it was the apartment kids. In like a mile radius, not less than a mile radius, like about 6 block radius. I had like a bunch, like about 6 to 8 friends that we just walk house to house to house to.
Yeah, we played wiffle ball, tennis ball, basketball, some skateboarding, and then occasionally fought, like circle up, organized fights. Seriously, it was pretty bad. We tried. Our thing was we tried to get like kids together to play baseball or football, something like that. Like that was our thing. We played basketball all the time. We never did fights though. Did you ever do a turkey bowl in your teenage years?
Yeah.
When's your last turkey bowl? Mine's about like 7 years ago, maybe.
Oh no, I haven't done a turkey bowl in a long time. It's been a long time. Probably like 10 plus years. They still did. I know some kids that still try to do it. But.
Yeah, I know, right? Some people are so crazy about getting out there. I think my last one was
like 2010. I think I actually did one. I think I did one in 2010. But it was just I was like, dude, I'm not getting up early in the morning for this nonsense.
Goals for 2019? We got to do a stand-up, a turkey bowl, and anything else on the top of the docket?
Stand-up, turkey bowl, win the lotto like the 24-year-old from Wisconsin. You know how much money that guy won? $798 million, and he cashed it in he took a lump sum of like $488.
The tax cut out that much?
I'm sure there's gonna be tax in there too. But
whatever.
Yeah.
Take the 48, dude.
$488 million? Yeah, I think that's pretty solid. 24 years old. 24 years old.
Oh wow! Just buy property.
He said he went into his job the next day, and then he quit.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
I wonder what his job was, though. Was he like a top, software person at his company? Was he like, bagging groceries? Was he, the librarian? Like, what
Probably
the hell
playing
was
Fortnite.
Imagine that. Like, you sitting there, like, in like he's actually creating the next Fortnite. Like, you know what? I don't want to put time and effort into making this. I'm just going to buy it from you.
How about that? You think you could for $500 million? Buy Fortnite? It's probably more expensive than
that. The game itself, at this point in time, probably is more expensive. But, I mean, if you were making a game, I'm sure that a game would cost probably somewhere around five, maybe I would think maybe less than that 500 mil. A game like Fortnite that's built so much, yeah, it's probably huge. But the company themselves are way in the billions, I would think.